Okay, good afternoon. Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Corey Fabian Borenstein, and I am the Public Programs Coordinator here at the NHA. It is my pleasure to welcome you here to the kickoff for our spring series of Food for Thought. We're going to be going, yes, yay. We're going to be going today through the end of April. There's some amazing people coming up. You can look at the program that was on your seat to get a little preview of what we have in store. But we're very excited about this series. A few announcements before we properly get started. First of all, if you missed any of our amazing Autumn Food for Thought series, they are all now available on YouTube. So just go to YouTube, AC History, that's us, and you can watch any of the ones you missed. You can watch a favorite one that you were here for and just want to relive over and over again, whatever you want to do. Second thing is, coming up other than Food for Thought, we also have History Quiz Bowl. It's coming up. It's coming up on Saturday, March 7th. We are still looking for teams for History Quiz Bowl. So if you are interested in joining us and being a team and showing how much you know about Nantucket history, now's your time. We have registration forms here. You can get them on our website, nhA.org, and in the office. Anytime you want to stop by, we are always excited to have new teams. So swing by if you are interested. So Food for Thought. Today, we are very lucky to be joined by Pam Murphy from Nantucket Safe Harbor for Animals. And before we get started, I just want to first thank the MS Worthington Foundation, whose support makes this series possible. It also receives media sponsorship from Novation Media, which is lovely, allows us to film it and then put it on YouTube later. Also, if you could take a moment right now to turn off or silence your cell phone so it doesn't disrupt the program, that would be amazing. While you are doing that, Pam actually brought along a great little video about Safe Harbor, so I'm going to turn that on, take time with your cell phones, and then I'll come back to tell you a little bit more about Pam.
It's all about the animals. That's why we're all here.
This is our island shelter. It is run by island people.
My dream and vision was to have something grassroots.
For me, it's all about love.
I can't imagine Nantucket without a shelter. This was our greatest fear when we came together in September of 2011, that what were we going to do? You know, our organization was leaving that had always had the shelter. So what's going to happen to our animals? How are we going to deal with the strays? How are we going to handle it? We were faced with a situation where we were going to have to ship animals off island, and that just didn't make any sense at all. So I just can't imagine what it would be like, and I'm glad other people thought that too.
NSHA is extremely unique in the sense that it is 100% volunteer run. Until recently, we did hire somebody to oversee the day-to-day, but we also are able to encompass the island as a community and not just do the, surrendering and adoption.
We honestly, I can't say enough about the volunteers. I hope that that's going to come through loud and strong, because we literally can't function without them. We couldn't consider it. We don't want to consider it.
Every time I volunteer here, I go home smiling, because something magic happens inevitably. And then when I come back, whenever later, a couple of days later or a week later, whatever, you can see the transition that the animals have made. It's fantastic.
Mondays is a big deal. Every Monday we get very excited to come out and see them. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. We only spend about 45 minutes to an hour out here.
Well, I like working with the animals, and I hope in the future, I want to work with animals too in the future, so hopefully it will help me with my future career.
I mean, I really think of Samantha as a colleague. I mean, she's reliable, she's great with the animals, she reminds me of things, she points things out. She also comes in and takes pictures of the animals. She is really good at photography.
Our shelter is probably the best shelter in the whole world. We have the best group of volunteers. They take the animals and change them from scared little animals to beautiful, loving creatures, and they take whatever time is needed to do that.
One of the things that's very important to us and to any shelter across the country is educating people about the importance of spaying and neutering. If you have a litter of kittens or a litter of puppies and you place them all in good homes, That's terrific, but each of those homes is no longer available to a dog or a cat or a puppy or kitten that's already here, alive, and needs a home.
So I've been working in animal welfare for, I think it's probably been over 15 years now. I was in the deep south in university and toying around with veterinary science and realized that my passion was not the medical, it is the advocacy, the welfare portion of animals. So I took a job in Mississippi, which was a very eye-opening, directing a humane society down there, where it was devastating. And I saw really what was happening in our country and most likely the world, and how many stray animals there are, how the overpopulation is. When I returned to Nantucket, after being gone for quite a few years from growing up here, when I returned, it was such a different world.
I've been in Jamaica where I couldn't where we never give animals medication or spade or neuter, and because it's so expensive. We have none of that in Jamaica, so when they have puppies, they would just kill them or throw them out in the river or something like that. That's a big problem, and I think that's one more reason why we have a shelter, right? To get all the puppies and stuff that people are trying to throw away, especially in Mississippi. We always have a set that from Mississippi that comes here that we try to find homes for. Some of them are successful, some of them not so much, still at the shelter.
This is Roxy. She's a Mississippi mutt. The shelter's been really helpful. She's already microchipped and neutered and spayed, so the process is as easy as can be. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You just pick up the dog. It's special to be able to rescue a dog because they were on her last leg. Her and her brother were found in a home, almost dead and starving, and the person in Mississippi brought her back to health. And so I feel really privileged to be able to save Roxy and let her have a really happy, wonderful life on Nantucket.
One of my favorite parts here is that you need a dog in Nantucket. I love getting a dog from here and put her in a truck and driving to the beach and, you know, having a co-pilot, and it's fun.
When we come to the animal shelter, we give the cats lots and lots and lots of love.
I absolutely love what NSHA does and what we've become. I'm astounded at how far we've come in this very short time. We've got volunteers, we've got people who love and care for the animals, we've got a board that works really hard. But you know, the most important people are the community that supports us, the people who have put their trust in what we're doing. It's incredibly moving for me to know that the people of Nantucket believe in all of these things that we're doing, and they continue, hopefully, long into the future to give us their financial support, because we want to keep doing what we're doing. We save a lot of animals. No, you save a lot of animals by helping us the way you do.
That was fun. Pam Murphy, as seen in our film, is here with us today, which is great. She's the board president at NSHA, and she's also a founding member of the Safe Harbor for Animals, which is, as you saw in the film, the island's animal shelter and adoption center since January 1st, 2012. Pam has been a business owner since 1986 and here on Nantucket since 1990, and an animal lover her entire life. Her business experience, combined with many years as secretary, vice president, and president of Theater Workshop of Nantucket, as well as many other island boards and committees, have provided her with tools that she needed to start and run this amazing shelter. She currently resides with 2 dogs and 2 cats, all of whom are elderly, as she has a soft spot for geriatric shelter residents. Please give a warm Nantucket welcome to Pam Murphy.
Thank you for bearing with me. Yeah, I'm Pam Murphy. I'm the president of NSHA, but I can't take all of the credit. The credit of creating NSHA and all of that goes to a lot of people. I brought with me today Jessica Sosby. She's our new executive director, and she's going to be chiming in as we go along. I also have our new development coordinator, Stephanie Henke, with me to help us. What I wanted to start out with is just a little clarification as to who NSHA is, because some people don't really understand yet. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background. On October 1st, or sometime in September in 2011, the MSPCA announced that they were leaving the island at the end of the year. And they had been here for 60 years. They were our animal shelter, our emergency services, and our animal hospital. So all of a sudden, we had 3 months to figure out what we were going to do and what was going to happen. Fortunately, the veterinarians that worked there got together and they purchased the building and the practice, and they formed the new offshore animal hospital, which we're really, really delighted about. We love these guys. They're very good to us. But we still needed an animal shelter and a dog pound, because that had all been incorporated into the MSPCA before that, but it's not anymore. So in the meantime, 2 former shelter staff, 2 local business people, a vet tech, and a couple of other animal lovers got together to figure it out, and NSHA was formed. After much ado and help from the community and the Community Foundation, which is an indispensable organization, I have to say, we didn't miss a beat, and we opened the doors on January 1st, 2012, and began caring for Nantucket's homeless animals. We are now a full-fledged 501c3 nonprofit. We are, however, unaffiliated with Offshore Animal Hospital. We rent 4 rooms at the back from them. This is the old MSPCA building. Where Offshore is now. But we're over in the back, so you got to walk down the left side of the building, and then you'll find us in the side door there. We are a nonprofit animal shelter, and they are a for-profit veterinary practice. We can't vaccinate your cat, and they can't release your stray dog. So we're 2 totally separate entities. And I stress that because a lot of people still don't understand. They think we're offshore or whatever, and both of us want to make sure that everyone understands we're different. So for the first 2 years, we worked with a large volunteer base to care for the animals and launch the organization. A little over a year ago, we hired an operations manager, the lovely Michelle Perkins that you saw in the video. We hired her to be in charge of all the animal care, of the medical needs of all the animals that we have, and our animal programs. We also hired a part-time caregiver to supplement the work of the volunteers, because we really didn't want to burn them out. And that's Angela Gray, and we love her too. This year, we are absolutely delighted to announce that we have hired an executive director and a full-time development coordinator, Jessica and Stephanie. I couldn't be happier. It's a huge step forward. It was an essential step. It was nerve-wracking and scary, but it was the right thing at the right time, and I'm so, so happy. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Jessica right now, because that's not Jessica. But she would kill me if I had a big picture of her up here the whole time. So you're welcome. Sorry. So Jessica is a founding member of NSHA, as is Stephanie, and she has an unflagging devotion to animal welfare and advocacy. She is currently the district leader for the Humane Society of the United States. She holds a graduate degree in animal advocacy. She was the director of the Nantucket branch of the Massachusetts Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals for 6 years, and their program coordinator for 4. She was also executive director of the Oktibbeha County Humane Society for a year, and has a veterinary technician's degree as well. Not to mention the fact that she's an accomplished artist, and you can see her work at the Sosby Gallery, which I highly recommend. Beautiful, if you can believe this, animal-related, mostly birds, beautiful things. But from these experiences, she has gained vast knowledge in development, strategic planning, public relations, management, and program development. At NSHA, while she was on the board, she spearheaded all 3 of our major summer events, bringing in half of our annual revenue with each. She dreamed of an independent island shelter long before NSHA was created. envisioning all that it could be and would need to be. What better executive director to implement the goals and visions that she herself imagined and created? So, as I said, I'm very happy to have her. 1,000 frustrations. I know. So, okay, that's the distinction of who we're not. We're not an animal hospital. But what do we do? Okay, what do we do? We pay outside veterinarians for services when we need any medical care. We can't perform any sort of medical procedures or anything. And the veterinarians on the island are very generous to us, and they discount their services for our shelter pets. We also have a volunteer. There she is. A volunteer vet tech who does evaluations, and she keeps an eye on everybody's health and makes sure that if anybody does need to see a veterinarian, they can. Through the veterinarians, we provide immediate medical care for any injured animal, as well as spaying and neutering and vaccinations and deworming, and they all get a microchip so that if they get lost, we can figure out who they belong to. As per our mission, we provide shelter and medical care. Here's a few pictures of what our shelter looks like. To stray, abandoned, and homeless animals. We find their owners, or we find them new forever homes. So far, we've found homes for well over 300 animals who were homeless. We also have a contract with the town of Nantucket, and we have helped probably between 100 and 120 strays find their owners every year. So that's pushing 400 strays in the course of the 3 years that we've been around. Because it happens, and they always wander away when they're not wearing their collar. I don't know what's with that. So that's some ways that we get our animals. Most of the strays we help them find their way back home every once in a while. Nobody claims one. But other ways that we get our animals. I just have to show you that about strays. Sometimes people assume that shelter animals have behavior issues or they're aggressive, and that's why they got dumped at the shelter. So they're really, somebody else's problems. That adopting means you're taking on somebody else's problem. But in actual fact, that really couldn't be further from the truth. Usually they're just victims of circumstances. A divorce, a foreclosure, a death in the family. Maybe somebody's got to move to the nursing home. Maybe the landlord all of a sudden says no more pets. Maybe they've got financial issues, or there's a new baby and the baby can't, has allergies, or it's almost always a lifestyle change, and it's tragic, and people really don't want to have to give them up. We do occasionally get some that have behavior problems, but like Lori said in the video, it's usually due to lack of attention or training, and with work, we often turn them into really, really adoptable animals, and they're all just wonderful. Shelter animals are not less loving or less valuable or less perfect than animals bought from breeders. In fact, I think they're often more loving and dedicated because they know what it's like to have an uncertain life, to not know where your next meal is coming from or how you're going to stay warm. I mean, they, just like all of us, they need somebody to love and be loved by. And these two love each other like crazy. And this, there it is. That picture says 1,000 words. If you are a breed-specific animal lover and, you'd rather not get a mutt, believe me, there are plenty of breed-specific rescue operations out there. Even at NSHA, we see a lot of purebred dogs. We've had beautiful collies and beagles, labs, Australian shepherds, boxers. Stop in, check it out. It's well worth it. It's a good idea. Another way we get our animals is from a program we called Land to Sea Cat Rescue. We reach out to other overcrowded shelters in Massachusetts and elsewhere, and we help them to alleviate the pressure on theirs. This is a photo of South Shore Humane Society. We were picking up one day. This is their entire shelter. The right-hand side is their dogs. The left-hand side is literally 2 closets with cages stacked in them with cats. So whenever we can, we help them. Yeah, it's the whole thing. And bring back some kitties, and we always find them great homes. I know a lot of you have heard about our Mississippi Mutts, and the organization down south that we get them from is called Little Mountain Rescue. I'm sure you know some of the happy families on the island who helped rescue some of them. We've been doing this in different ways since back in the MSPCA days. Right now what happens is they are brought up to road dog transport in Tennessee from Mississippi. This is our handsome young man in Tennessee that we're all dying to meet. They have to go into, because of the regulations of the state of Massachusetts, they have to go into isolation for 48 hours in Woburn. And then our volunteers go there and pick them up. They bring them down to the boat, and then here they all are on the steamship coming over. And once they've gotten, they're through the quarantine and the health certificates and everybody brings them over, we just find them new and loving homes. It really doesn't take very long because everybody's ready for them. Everybody loves them. There's so many great stories. All their original stories are heart-wrenching, but it's an overwhelming joy to be able to place them in loving homes. This is Lily and what she looked like when we got her, and this is what she looked like on her way to Nantucket. So I'm supposed to be talking about programs. What are our programs? As a part of our advocacy mission, we have a humane education program. It focuses on teaching people of all ages proper behavior around animals and the value of humane thinking. When the concepts of respect and kindness towards animals are valued, violence in general is discouraged and more likely to be prevented. We do tours of the shelter, we visit schools and camps, we offer humane curriculum modules, and we are, Jessica, as our executive director, has invigorated our advocacy programming and committee. So do you want to jump in and talk about any of that right now? Or, yeah, come on up. Give me a break. Thanks.
Can you hear me? Hello? Hello. So yeah, we do have quite a few programs through NSHA, and we do offer volunteer opportunities for all of our programs. One of them is the advocacy committee, and that is teaching people how to advocate for humane behavior and welfare, even on a state level. So right now, our committee has just gotten started about learning how to lobby and effective ways to call your elected officials, congressmen, senators. There's quite a bit of current legislation that's on the table right now, and we are going to go up on May 3rd and lobby at the State House. And it's a lot of the bills that are on the table are actually companion animal related. So they are going to be laws that affect us here on Nantucket about different things, whether it's stricter penalties for abuse and neglect, breed-specific legislation, those kinds of things. So we are doing that. We're also taking little field trips. In about a couple weeks, we're going to be going over to the Cape Wildlife Center, which is through HSUS, Humane Society, the organization, Humane Society of the United States, and they're going to be talking about seals. And so we just kind of want to open it up to anything that really affects the animals on Nantucket. And of course, our shelter deals mostly with cats and dogs and bunnies and birds and guinea pigs, but we also want to incorporate that to any animals that live and dwell on the island. So that's part of our advocacy, and we do open it up to anyone who is interested.
All right, then. Another one of our programs that we're really, really pleased about is called Lucky Whiskers and Wags. We offer financial assistance initially through Nantucket Behavioral Health Services and a Safe Place. If one of their clients is in a crisis and their pet can't get proper care or protection, then that's when we can step in. But in addition to that, thanks to a grant from the Community Foundation and the Carly Foundation, our Lucky Whiskers and Wags program enables us to help anyone in financial crisis to care for their beloved pet in an emergency, a life-threatening situation, or a pain relief situation. Our operations manager will vet any applications to see, for eligibility, and our ethics committee, in the case of an emergency, the ethics committee convenes via group text in any time of the night or day to determine just how we can help. Our newest program is called Senior Pet Assistance, SPA or SPA. And it was initiated through a grant from the Michael Graham Foundation, whereby we can give temporary assistance to senior Nantucketers whose pets need medical help, or they can't get out and walk the dog, or they just can't get to the litter box to scoop, or somebody needs to help them administer medications. And we're really, really delighted with that. It's had great response. We've helped a lot of people with it. This is one of my, two of my favorite people. This is Mary and Mary. And Nikita. I have to tell you, Mary will be turning 103 in September. She is my next door neighbor, and a number of years ago she had to give up her kitties because her skin had just become so fragile, and her kitty had started to bite a little bit. So her son took her cat, but she desperately wanted another one, and she came to the shelter one time with a volunteer and fell in love with Nikita. And immediately a light went off in my head, because if Mary's issue is she can't get bitten or scratched, isn't Nikita perfect? She has no claws and she has no teeth, and she's 16 years old. So these two, this was like 2 years ago. They are absolutely inseparable. I get emails from the caregivers telling me that when Mary has her breakfast, Nikita has her breakfast. When Mary goes to the potty, Nikita goes to the litter box. It's crazy. They're just so in love. And it's stories like that that make me so happy. Another program is obviously our volunteering, which you heard a lot about in the video. Our volunteer program involves, I don't even know how many people help us all the time. It's so, so wonderful. 40, 50, 60 people across the island involved in some way or another. From people who are helping us transport the animals to people working on IT or behind the scenes doing IT. You saw the video. Mind's Eye Productions has helped us enormously over the years. Nantucket IT is helping us out. People manning the desks at our events, or just being crazy at our events, depending on what's needed. But most importantly are the daily caregivers, because there's a schedule. We need people 3 times a day, because these are little critters that are depending on one of us to come in and get them fed and clean them up and get them out walking or whatever needs to be done. So it's a huge, huge asset to us to have these volunteers, and we're always looking for more. They come without fail to feed and love up the animals. Whether you commit to a weekly schedule or you drop by with a child or a grandchild to socialize the animals, it all means a great deal to us and to them, and it can be really a hugely rewarding experience. But my main focus is our SNP program, Spay Neuter Island Pets, because February is National Spay Neuter Month. I want to give you a little bit of background. Most people are sadly unaware of the fact that the number of lives that are lost on a daily basis in this country due to shelter overcrowding. Every day, more than 9,000 healthy and treatable dogs and cats are killed in American shelters. Every day. That's 6 animals every minute, and there's no good reason for it. Over 7.5 million companion animals end up in American shelters every year. Shelters with limited space that can only give each animal so much time. Where our little affiliate is down in Mississippi, Little Mountain Rescue, the reason she exists is because there is no shelter within 150 miles, and their animal control officer has to kill anything that's been there for more than 3 days. That's how much time they get. So we jump in and we do everything we can. And that's happening all over the place. There are way more animals than there are responsible homes. So the question is why? Why is that? Not spaying and neutering. Irresponsible pet ownership leads to unwanted litters and homeless animals that continue to reproduce. It's as simple as that. It's very simple to alleviate, and it could not be more important. So, okay, what does that have to do with Nantucket? We don't have loose dogs running around. We don't euthanize for overcrowding here. No, but we do help Nantucketers find pets when they need them. And we do help other shelters place their animals. And for every litter that's born here on Nantucket, there are 6 or 8 more shelter dogs that will languish and die. Because well-meaning people think their pet is so wonderful, they should make more. Oh, but I'll make sure they all get good homes. I mean, everybody says to me, oh, your dog is so sweet. If you have puppies, I want one. Oh, I won't be like a puppy mill. Great. But for every puppy you create, another shelter animal gets euthanized because there's no home for him who's been waiting in a cage for a year. I mean, well-meaning people think they might be able to make some money off of this. They might be able to make a couple bucks selling their purebred cats or dogs. Usually, the economics doesn't work out. If it does, they probably aren't getting the veterinary care that they really need. Accidents. Yes, accidents happen. People think they're going to keep an eye on them. It's not going to happen. Cat won't get out, or it happens. More often with males because they don't have to, the owners of the males don't have to suffer the consequences of or the expense of the puppies and the kittens. There's also cultural differences. Some cultures are adamantly opposed to making those changes. Kittens are so cute. Let's just have some kittens. I love them. Did you know that a kitten can become pregnant as young as 4 months of age? And then her kittens have kittens at 4 months of age? And each of them can produce 4 to 6 more kittens? Do the math. That's a potential 216 kittens in 1 year from one cat. Except for the fact that they can get pregnant twice a year, each of them, and I didn't do that math because it got too complicated, but in the best estimate from the ASPCA, there are over 70 million stray cats in the United States alone. So, what are we doing about it? We're working with shelters and humane organizations across the country to raise awareness of the importance of spaying and neutering pets. We make it a priority to stress the joys of adoption over purchasing. Thanks to better education and national campaigns, the shelter kill rates have dropped from 17 million annually to 3.2. It's still a staggering figure. Humane education. This Valentine's Day, we're focusing on love without sex. The Handlebar Cafe is hosting NSHA and Charlotte Carey Photography. For a donation to our SNP program, you get a professional photo of yourself and your beloved pet, a heart-shaped cruelty-free cookie, and a chance to win a free spay or neuter. So come on down. It's 11 to 1 on Saturday. As of last year, thanks to a grant from the MS Worthington Foundation, yet again, we started our SNP program, Spay Neuter Island Pets. We have a limited number of spay-neuter vouchers we can offer every year to low-income families to help them pay for this essential surgery. This is one of our top priorities as we work together with shelters nationwide towards the goal of no more homeless pets. I mean, I would love nothing better than to put this organization right out of business because every animal had a home. We're working on it. So how does one qualify for SNP? It's easy. Off-island, there's low-cost spay and neuter options. There's the spay wagon. There's even stuff through the state of Massachusetts. That's what those SN license plates are all about. That money goes towards that. But here, although we had a really successful spay day in 2013, it just makes more sense to help people get it done when they're ready to get it done. We don't have to wait. As soon as they make the commitment, we're ready to help them out. Sure, it's more expensive, but it's less expensive than more animals in the shelter. So all an applicant has to do is fill out the application, show us if you're on Social Security, SSI, food stamps, whatever. Tell us which veterinarian you want to use, make an appointment. It's as simple as that. There's applications out on the front desk if anybody's interested. There's also spa applications out there for the senior program. So how can you help? Spay and neuter your pets. That's the first thing. Spread the word. Bring awareness to your friends, your colleagues. I mean, even people you meet on the street. I don't know about you, but if I see somebody walking a dog, I always stop and talk to the dog. I mean, if you're one of those kinds of people, just take a little peek underneath, and if you see any unnecessary parts, you just tell them, get that dog fixed, okay? Please. Get your cat fixed. Please don't breed your dog. Yeah, he's beautiful and sweet, but for every puppy you make, there's a home lost to a dog already waiting for a loving home. And my favorite, adopt. Look how happy they are. Adopt your next pet. Help us place every deserving animal in a home he or she so desperately longs for. Nantucket is paradise for shelter animals, and they return that gratitude every waking moment. We even have birds. We have bunnies. We have little guinea pigs. Sometimes they don't last long. We do. Do not purchase from a pet store. Many of these animals come from horrendously cruel situations of overcrowded cages, breeder dogs never seeing the light of day, or never walking on fresh grass, just living in their own filth. You may have heard about the 73 long-haired dachshunds rescued recently in Massachusetts. From a disreputable breeder. It happens more than you know. So you really don't know where those dogs are coming from or those cats are coming from, because it might be from a breeder somewhere in the background. If you do want a purebred animal, check breed-specific rescues or Pet Finder. They're there. There's tons of them. I got 2 of the world's most loving boxers, purebred boxers, from shelters. If you must purchase from a breeder, do your homework. Make sure it's a reputable breeder. A responsible breeder has all those puppies sold before they even breed the dogs, just about. Another way to help is to attend our events. Again, our SNAP event, snap a photo at the Handlebar Cafe on Saturday. Our Daffodil Parade, right after the car parade leaves town, we do a dog parade up and down Main Street. There's always about 100 entrants to that. That's a lot of fun. Come to our summer fundraiser. This is a picture from a night in Rio, our Pause for the Cause event. This one is from last year, our doggy fashion show, which was tons of fun. Photos with Santa. I mean, what could be more fun than that? For a $20 donation, you get a professional photograph from, again, Charlotte Carey Photography. And yes, those are all her dogs. Or volunteer. I mean, look how much fun we're having. We are a fun bunch of people to volunteer with. Susan, you're just like the star of the show today. Volunteering it's a lot of love. It's a love fest, and we start them young. These kids, the kids, the Girl Scouts, so many just love being there, and it really teaches them in the beginning to help out whatever needs to be done. Just want to be clear about it. Got to do it all. I think this is a litter scooping demo. Those aren't real. Yeah, they're kind of colorful. Another way that you can help is fostering. If you're not ready to get an animal, or you don't have the financial means to have one, but you love dogs and cats, come and talk to us. We would much rather put we'd much rather put them in your home where they can get love and attention and learn how to be real pets instead of waiting around in cages. So that's always an option. We love to do that. Or you could make a donation. There's always that. There's many ways of doing that. I take cash, I take checks, I can take your credit card anytime. Or you see our little blue dogs all around the island, just ready and eager. But adopt. This is Sabrina. She is currently in the shelter. She's just looking at you saying, "Are you my new mama?" She is half, picture this, clear your mind. She's half Rottweiler and half Corgi. So this big girl is on these little legs. She is just a charmer, a total sweetheart. We love her. We love her. She's 3 years old and couldn't be more loving and sweet. You may have seen this picture before. This is Indy. She boarded Air Force Two last Thanksgiving weekend and went home with the Vice President and his family. These are her new siblings. She is the grand dog to Joe Biden and his family. So she's that was pretty fantastic. And I'm going to close with the words from an amazing animal organization called Best Friends Animal Sanctuary, and just remind you that together we can save them all. Thank you very much.
Leave it on. We'll do questions. Thank you so much. I'd like to open it up if anyone has any questions. Just throw a hand up and I'll run over for either of us. Any takers?
I was worried about you when we lost power. Could you tell us what happened?
Hello? When we lost power. Well, I know that unfortunately offshore has a generator which also broke. So we were without power at the shelter for at least 24 hours. But we did our best to get all the dogs safely into foster homes, which they were cozy. So all the dogs were cozy. All the kitties had to rough it out. But we had some amazing volunteers actually go up there. Val Hall, who's sitting right in the second row, was the one on the worst day of it, trucked up there and took care of the cats. So our volunteers are ridiculously dedicated that they put their lives in danger. But they all made it fine, and we did recover. So.
I was just wondering what the extent of the stray cat problem is on the island.
Yeah, that is a good question. There are quite a few stray cat issues on Nantucket. You know, I think that in Nantucket history, the feral cat population is really just stray cats that became feral without lack of attention and homes. You know, an organization did come up to kind of take care of the feral cats, and the feral cats are still being taken care of by a really nice organization called Cat Trap that operates out of Tom Neffers at a private home. And they do a really nice job of spaying and neutering and trapping and releasing the feral cats. But they also then set up feeding stations and enclosures for them so that they stay in the area. So if they're young enough, the little stray cats will come in and come to the shelter. And if they're kittens, then we socialize them and adopt them out. As far as people's pets go, people are constantly losing cats. They turn up months to years later even, somehow, and whether they've been living with someone else or whatever, but they do make it home. But we do see quite a few stray cats. The best thing I can say is microchip, because there are a lot of tabbies out there, and it's hard to know whose is who. So if you microchip your pet, then at least we have a really good chance of scanning and finding you quickly. But we do take care of all animals. If we don't find the owner for a stray cat within a couple of weeks, then it will go up for adoption. So you do want to also, if you're missing a cat, please contact us, because if the communication is broken in some way, we may adopt out your cat if we haven't heard from you. If you've gone out of the country for a while, let us know.
I actually had one. I was wondering, you have so much going on. It's incredible. What are your kind of coming in the pipeline preview dream projects? Dream project. What's that?
Oh, she said, what are you coming in the pipeline dream project? Oh, come on.
Well, the dream, yes, since you asked, the dream project is our own facility. Right now, we're grateful to have the 4 rooms that we do at offshore, but it's not quite what we want long term. You know, for me and my vision that Pam talked about before is, you know, I think
all the volunteers would probably say this, is we want to have a facility on Nantucket that serves the community and for homeless animals forever. Something that belongs here, that belongs to the island, and that we know that they'll be safe. When Pam and I leave, Stephanie leaves, the volunteers leave, that it's going to continue. So we want to have a better isolation facility. We'd love to have better spaces for our dogs and cats. We'd love to have a space to educate. We'd love to be able to give people tours. Right now it's a single file type situation. So yeah, a permanent facility is our dream. And I don't know if it's way off in the future. We're hoping to get that, you know, within the feasible future, short term, maybe. It's up to you guys.
Does anyone else have any other questions? Oh, one more.
Well, it's not really a question for myself, but in case anyone is interested in volunteering and coming into the shelter, what are the first couple steps that they should take?
So we welcome all volunteers. We're actually currently in the process of revamping our volunteer program. We accept anything from, if you're interested in fostering, if you're interested in animal caregiving, events, the humane education program, if you want to work with kids, whatever it is, call us, 825-CATS, or you can visit our website, Nantucket Safe Harbor for Animals.org. And you can find a lot of information on there, but definitely call us and we'll get you plugged into the right category that fits your needs and your interests. And it can be once a month, you know, once a week. Some of our volunteers, many of them 4 times a week. We'd like to lessen that load for some of them. We are currently really looking for animal caregivers, especially in the morning. So if you're early birds and you want to come in and feed the cats and scoop litter boxes, we'd love to have you. We'll try and make it as fun as possible, and we try and appreciate everybody as much as possible. So we'd definitely love to have you, so definitely give us a call.
Out on the front desk, I put some information on, it's just a brief description of the different ways that you can volunteer, and there's also a volunteering application, or you can pull one up online. There's also other applications there too.
Sounds good. One more rousing thank you for coming out and telling us more about your programs.